Good morning, everybody. How was your weekend? I cannot believe it's Monday already. As you know, the weekend is always a blink, but we're back together as friends. I don't know who's following the Kylie case. It is insane. And we've got some new people who've been coming around that they just don't know how we roll around here, but they'll get used to it. Some are fitting right in and some are little cantankerous, but that's okay. We know how to do it. Let's see who's in here on this Monday, August 15th, 2022. 14 months since Summer Wells' disappearance. Obviously later in the day, 14 months. I never thought, now I said it on the 1 month, 6 month, her birthday, the 1 year. I never thought we'd be sitting here, guys, without something. But everybody has stuck in, and we are going to see this through to the end because Summer deserves justice. Absolutely, she does. Katrina and Shannon were in here chatting it up early. Katrina finished her Christmas shopping this weekend. Friendly reminder that ho 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 season is right around the corner. Has anybody else started their Christmas shopping? We were out shopping yesterday, not particularly for Christmas, and I did poke around the store to see if there was any Christmas stuff out yet, so I feel I'm safe. A couple of weekends ago, they had tax-free weekend, for the kids going back to school, but a lot of people were Christmas shopping. And I thought, hey, good on you. Way to save a buck. Angie Gibson, good morning. Misty, good morning. Kayla, good morning. Hello, preschool granny. There's my friend Lauren, my friend Chris. Hi, Tanya. Hello, Connie. Allegedly, don't come for me. I need to know the backstory to that name. Hello, Rexana, Michelle. What a way to start a Monday. Diane is a new YouTube member. Welcome, welcome. Our members' lives, we've been doing them on Saturday. Last weekend, I think it was like 10:30, 11 in the morning, but normally they're a little earlier. So don't forget to come in for the members' lives. We have a lot of fun. It's super laid back. We have giveaways quite a bit. That's been a while since a giveaway. We probably time to do another giveaway. So welcome and thank you for that. Mama Bear's in the house. Mary. Hello, Bullhorn Betty. 14 months, guys. Carla Gentry. Hello, Jordan. Lisa. Heather. Nubian. Diane, yeah, now you're a member. Hello, Heather. Be a shiner, not a whiner. Lisa Irwin. Everyone is piling in. If I miss you, I promise I'll get you in the comments. I promise. How do you pronounce this? Averine Card Designs. I'm going to assume you make cards. Like Christmas cards, birthday cards, business cards. I'd like to know. Hello, Melinda Lewis. Jennifer, what's up? Bullhorn Betty, what are you doing all sunburnt? Were you laying out nude or something? Better watch that, girl. There's eyes and ears everywhere. Hello, Magoo. Spicy Lady, Katie Bird, Jay Butter. Wake and Bake. I love that name too. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, TL. Hey, Deb. Norma, what's up? Dina, I can't pronounce this name. I don't know what it's a couple of L's, a one. Miss K, I'd love to know the meaning behind that name. Vicky, Fruit Loop. If I miss anybody, I'll catch you in the comments. I do apologize. Well, Alicia said she normally catches the replay, but hey, it's better when it's live, right? We all get to chat amongst ourselves. Hello, Leanne. I know, awesome names. I'll never get over the names. So again, here we are, 14 months. Last week, we did a live show. All the shows are live, by the way. I know some people have been like, is this a video or live? It's either live or a replay. I do not know how to make videos. I can barely make thumbnails. Do not expect anything of any talent out of me, please. Cat's out of the bag. Last week we did a live for Harmony Montgomery. They have changed her investigation from missing to homicide. As the days drag on with summer, I don't think it's going to be too long until the focus of her investigation changes as well. And we're all going to hang in there. Absolutely, we are. Let's bring up our friend Susan, who's been here since day one. Actually, before day one. Before there was ever even a channel. Long story. We'll go through that. TL, do not expect anything of talent out of me. Brooks 2022. That is a true fact. That should be on a t-shirt. We have no merchandise, but if we did, that would be a t-shirt. Hello, Eddie. What's up, my friend? Let's see what our friend Susan's doing. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. Can you believe it's been 14 months?
I don't want to believe it, but yeah.
14 months of lies, pranks, misdirections,
Manipulation.
There you go.
Looking.
We've got all the adjectives. Go ahead, Susan.
Drug use, drinking, pranking, nastiness. Yeah, the list goes on.
Breaking doors. DUI live on YouTube.
7 alibis.
Oh, God. I forgot about that. Speaking of 7 alibis, where's she been?
I don't know. I haven't seen her around. I hope she's okay.
Busy. People get busy this time of year. We'll have to tag her over in Discord for sure. Yes, everybody pick an adjective, any adjective, because right at this point, if there's any sort of depravity to them, they're going to fit. Mama Bear, toxicity. You got that right. Big T said messy. Just messy ass people.
Nasty.
And as we do, we're going to do some friendly reminders today of about 14 months and a few days as to what brought us to 14 months. We're going to see some interviews between Dawn on His Own and Candace and Candace speaking a few days later, and they're two totally different tones I just recently picked up on, believe it or not. I'm kind of slow to the punch, which is why I have to watch these things over and over and over again. Melinda said deceptive.
Very.
I go to the public information officer in Kylie Rodney's case, where she looked like she could spit nails one day, and she goes, somebody knows something. Cross it over to this case. Somebody knows something.
And I just wish somebody would speak up. This poor baby. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine not being concerned. It's maddening.
Well, and besides the absolute horrificness of the fact that Summer Wells is missing, you know, what you just brought up, I think is kind of what could knock us all over with a feather, is the lack of concern and urgency from those involved.
Exactly. I don't get it. I don't understand. As a parent myself, I would be beside myself. They would have to medicate me. I would lose my mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overnight, one of the key players, as she calls herself, look at this, put this on her YouTube community tab. There's good old Judy Sue. Looks like she's got a carton of ice cream. This was just, a few hours ago. Mind you, Summer Wells has been missing. It's important every day, but today's 14 months. And according to Jody, she loves Summer, right? Watched her grow up. She was very well aware of what was going on. She's trying to be the hero, if anyone hasn't noticed. It's always the little things. Still sick, boo-hoo, and getting worse, boo-hoo, but okay, relaxed and happy despite that. A storm is rolling through tonight, and I think these 3 things will go well with movies, in bed, and my current favorite fuzzy blanket. Summer would like a fuzzy blanket, you bitch. Aren't you the one that's been advocating for her, supposedly? Yet you're not. You have made things up to derail this investigation.
That woman, oh my God. She's such a grifter. Look at me. I knew what was going on, but yet you said nothing, you stupid witch. Oh.
Wake and Bake. Yep, the hero of lies from JSB. Exactly. Mama Bear, I still have that recording you sent me, and we've got to find the right person to clean it up. Don't think I forgot about that. Don't think I did. Good morning, Pat. So let's go through some comments from the last show. Let's go through those, and then we're going to get to 14 months. Oh, Michelle, Jody Sue, you're so self-centered. Yep. Mama Bear. So you heard it also. Oh, I heard it loud and clear. Mama Bear's unearthed some insane things that are going to have to be cleaned up. But she also has turned everything over to the authorities. So don't anybody come Mama Bear and say she's sitting on anything, because she's not. Bama Cat, she should be held accountable for her part.
I couldn't agree more.
Mama Bear said, thank you, ma'am. So I'm not crazy completely. You got to be a little crazy to hang around here. You know it. So let's go through some comments from the last show and get to 14 months.
Let's do it.
All right, Lisa Durr left a comment. So this would be 14 months ago. Lisa left it 2 days ago, but it goes with what we're talking about right now. So 14 months ago, give or take a few hours, if you know what I mean, the dispatcher said it's been about 10 minutes since they couldn't find her. This is important. This is what was reported to 911. Whether they changed their story later and got their act together doesn't matter. That is called evidence. Some people say it doesn't matter. They just couldn't remember. The 911 call is always evidence. It's always evidence. The dispatcher said it had been about 10 minutes since they couldn't find her. Police were there, roughly 30 minutes. So they were talking about 40-minute head start for Summer based on the 911 dispatch. Searchers and helicopters would have found Summer exactly in 40 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
40 minutes. Thank you. This is so important, this comment, the way that she sizes it up. So a 40-minute head start. Now, mind you, kids can get away from you fast.
Ooh, they can.
Yep.
But you got all them people, the helicopters, somebody's going to find her.
Helicopters, people on foot, people driving around. Let's not forget, if she just wandered off, you had people yelling for her. She would have yelled her name back at some point. If she fell and hit her head, somebody somewhere would have come across her.
Exactly.
Lisa goes on to say, okay, searchers and helicopters would have found Summer, so walking away is not an option to me. She said, I've never believed abduction. And if it's been 20 minutes, why not walk the property instead of getting in the truck and driving off into the holler? Candace left that property to hide Summer somewhere, and I believe law enforcement knows that, and they are trying to find Summer's remains. Now that's hard to hear, but we got to be real here. Why would you jump? Why would you look under a blanket, under a mattress
For 20 minutes.
20 minutes? I'll time you right now, Susan. Go in your bedroom and look under the mattress and the blanket and report back for duty. I guarantee it does not take 20 damn minutes.
No, it doesn't. There's no way.
No. She even tried to recreate what I call the initial search, which is that of Candace. She was the one that realized Summer was missing. Her search entailed a blanket under a mattress that was on a concrete floor. She walked out the door. She looked over to the right. This is what she told Chris McDonough, because Summer liked to sit there and play by herself sometimes, and then relays the news to her mother that Summer has been abducted. Now, Candace did say to WJHL a week or so after Summer disappeared that they yelled for her all they could and Summer didn't yell back. See, that's when you walk around and you look around your property in case she might be injured. Correct? Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% correct. And I said I would have my ass in the woods. I don't care if there's bears, snakes, alligators, or Bigfoot. I would be finding my child, because that's where I would assume that she went.
And I would also want help. Mm-hmm. So before I venture out into the woods on my own property,
Mom, call 911. I'm going to look.
I need some help here. I can't cover this whole hill myself. Good point, Katrina. She had to climb over all that filth. Yep. So I know that I had some comments after the show, I think it was last Wednesday, saying, if you listen to the 911 dispatch, Dawn and Candace were looking for her. I never heard that. I'm not going to replay it today because I did re-listen to it this morning. It says neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lawson did say when he was being interviewed in one of the first updates, we were getting daily updates, and he didn't seem overwhelmed by the search effort. He goes, nah, they were looking by themselves or something. Yet he comes out in the spring and says, ask her why it took her so long, meaning Candace, ask her why it took her so long to call 911. That would be a huge question. But I'm with Lisa. This has never made sense to me. You can't find your daughter. Why do you jump in the truck? You can't drive through the woods, idiot.
None of it makes sense. And then to jump to abduction, why would she assume she was abducted in that short amount of time? It never made sense.
Because it's the only thing that's going to make her look innocent.
Yeah.
So she takes off down the road. This is not a neighborhood where Summer would have ventured out to go find friends to play with, or a playground, or you know what I mean?
Right.
But she takes off down the road. If Summer's in the woods, she can't see her from the road, to Candace's own admission. Also to Candace's own admission, Summer would never wander off. But you're still going to search your own property, but you're not going to take off driving down the road.
Never made sense.
And this right here, our friend Bullhorn Betty is reading my mind. She left 2 times. Yeah, dumbass Candace let that slip on a live one day that the TBI said to her, this would have made me shit my pants. We know you left 2 more times that day. No, not 2 more times. We know you left, 2 more times from when you got home. She mentions one time when she's given, her official synopsis of the afternoon of June 15th, 2021. She jumped in the truck. She does her hands like she's in a hurry. skedaddle, skedaddle down the driveway and down the road to go find him. But what about the time before?
Yeah. Conveniently forgot about that one.
Yes, she did. We don't let child abusers forget things like that. Thank you for the super sticker, Pat, and agreed. Justice for Summer. All right. Now, this I do not know because I have no way to verify it. Susan, not Susan that's on panel. She uses her last name. I don't want to blast her last name out. But anyway, she left me a comment. She said October 26th is a court date for Candace through family court. More than likely to maybe get the boys back. Anybody know how long Candace has been offline from her YouTube channel she had? Anyone know? April. So if she really has a family court date, that would be roughly 6 months from when she went radio silent. Mm-hmm. I really hope that is not true. This lady heard it somewhere. 6 months makes sense because they have a 6 months program. You have 6 months to get your shit in order. But she's not living at the house. What was there? Did Jesus come back to the planet and cure her from her alcoholism? How did she get sober?
I pray that's not true. I mean, I want her to be sober. That's not what I mean. But why would you do that to them boys? Why?
Well, there's always going to be the argument. She hasn't been charged with anything yet. If she did what she's supposed to do, then she can get them back. Look, those boys never did anything to you. Don't wish that upon them.
Nope. What about her other kids?
She just left.
Got a pattern. She's got a pattern.
So anyway, I wouldn't doubt there is a hearing for something, whether it's parental rights or basically a status update on what's going on. But as far as getting the boys back, I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine that happening. Or her wanting it. And that'd be 4 days before Dawn gets out.
Oh, God.
Like I said,
don't let that be true.
I hope not. I hope not. They deserve a second chance. And, and it's always been, I don't want to say an argument, a discussion that the boys weren't necessarily taken by CPS, but that Dawn called CPS and said it was too dangerous for them then, with the abduction that happened and YouTubers. There was nobody around their house in July. And there would be, first of all, Dawn would not have been ordered to pay any sort of reimbursement and child support to the state. Dawn wouldn't have agreed to that. This wouldn't have been his idea. I'm going to put child support on top of it. There would be no reunification process. No.
He didn't take care of them when he had them. Why was the neighbor feeding them?
Yeah. Hence why they're gone. Sorry, Susan, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm just thinking out loud. He never took care of them. Wasn't Allie buying them groceries? Because he wasn't?
I don't know how many trips to the grocery store Allie made for the Wells children in particular. I know it was talked about in the McDonough interview. Jose gave her props for it. I'm still wondering what the actual motivation behind that is for Allie to part with grocery money for other children, considering she's in a mess of her own with CPS in Tennessee for her own children. So I wonder about what the actual motivation is.
But my point was, he wasn't doing it.
Oh, exactly. No. We heard on one of Mama Bear's phone calls where Allie said, They just had a drunk mother and a frozen pizza once a day. And I was like, you knew that? And
she
you're
said
repeating
nothing.
nothing. I just can't see the boys going back if
I hope not.
you're Pruitt saying the CPS case has bled over into this. That doesn't mean that they have to do something with the CPS case first. Summer is first and foremost. Summer is first and foremost. They have to find Summer. They're not putting Summer on the back burner to deal with the CPS case. Lawson has nothing to do with CPS. Leslie has nothing to do with CPS. The TBI, obviously, they're going to get the information from them. That's not in their wheelhouse. Pruitt isn't. I mean, they want Summer. So I know a lot of people say, no, they have to take care of CPS first, and then they'll work on Summer. Pooey.
I don't buy that for a second.
Look at Bullhorn spitting facts. 50 cents on the dollar for substances? Could be. You got to have some motivation to go out of your way and do something like that for another family when, like I said, you've got your own kids to feed. And let's face it, you're not a stellar mama yourself, are you, Allie? You've lost your kids.
That's true.
Crazy. These people are crazy.
Absolutely.
So we're going to rewind back as we do, and we're going to go through Don talking about the search effort for his daughter.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. It's something else. He fails to mention that his wife never looked for her.
Yeah, she was FaceTiming Allie, trying on hats.
She was, messing with her hat. I will never understand why she had to get a hold of Allie that afternoon. Yeah. I think I might be reaching too far. I think that's going to be a big part of this. That she was in the house talking to Allie. I am not saying that Allie has anything to do with Summer's disappearance, but I do want to know why it was important for Candace, when you've got police crawling all over your property looking for your daughter, why you needed to get a hold of Allie. Now, I do understand that she let Robin know she couldn't find Summer. She let other people know. But it seemed to be almost a mission to make sure she got a hold of Allie.
I would just love to be in the fly on the wall then.
And if you notice, when Allie's talking about the conversation, of course, she mentions that Candace was drunk. She doesn't have much detail as to what was discussed the night of Summer's disappearance. Has anybody heard Allie give any sort of details about the real meat and potatoes of their conversation? If she did, I damn sure missed it.
I haven't heard anything.
She makes sure to tell you what she had going on that afternoon. Allie, I mean, not Candace. Candace, forget it. Allie made sure to let us know without being asked that her phone was dead, that she was without, not Allie, all turned around, and it's only 9:29 on a Monday morning, that she was with Leslie watching this football practice. Nobody asked her ass what she was doing. McDonough kind of looked at her and nodded his head. Okay, so you had a busy afternoon. He was focused on Hunter, but she has to let him know she was all tied up that afternoon. I took it as she didn't want to get roped in on this, so she wanted to make sure everybody knew she was nowhere near Ben Hill Road. Now I question it. I question why Candace needed to talk to Allie that night. Okay, she called Robin, she called David. Well, they came out to help, correct? I mean,
that's what I understand.
Allie didn't come out there.
No. She sure didn't bring Hunter out there either, did she?
Was that girlfriend?
She sure didn't bring Hunter out there either, did she?
Oh, no. No. She even said it popped up on her phone. And her and Leslie went through the drive-through at Cookout, some restaurant, to get food. Yet she thinks of Summer as a daughter, and they were very ingrained in each other's lives. Very ingrained. Even though Allie had to call 911 on Candace to go get her kids back, that seemed to have been water under the bridge. Don't think that these two were at odds with each other. You call 911 on Candace, yet you let Hunter go with Candace the day of Summer's disappearance. Coincidence is called evidence in these cases.
Exactly.
So let's get to our friend Dawn, tongue in cheek, I'm saying that, and get a friendly reminder of how he started running the show. Shall we, Susan?
Why not?
You're watching News Channel 11 at 6:30.
It's been 6 nights since 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared from her Hawkins County home. It's what many consider to be a parent's worst nightmare. And this Father's Day, the best gift the Wells family could receive is finding Summer safe. You're watching News Channel 11 at 6:30. I'm Kelly Grossfield. Take another look at this photo. This is Summer. She has blonde hair, blue eyes, and stands about 3 feet tall. The search for her continues tonight with efforts expected to last until 8. But last night they went far beyond that, with crews searching in fields near the home with flashlights and helicopters as well, all into the early morning hours. We've been following the search efforts all day today as well. Bianca Murray joins us live with the latest. Bianca.
Katie, we're coming up on night 6 in the search for Summer Wells. Search teams today asking for reinforcements with a statewide call, that is, to the Tennessee Association of Rescue Squads. Today, we've seen teams from the Gatlinburg area here to help, as well as crews from not too far away in Greenville, Tennessee. The search continues, but so does the investigation into what happened to 5-year-old Summer.
All right, so I'm with Lisa Durr. We can scratch wandering off. We can scratch it. They were thick and heavy. If there is any resemblance of truth to Candace's story, within the hour, now I understand that all of these search crews were not assembled within that hour. Somebody would have found her.
I agree.
I do not want to wish any more on Summer Wells than what she already had to endure in life. The wandering off was the first thing I thought. I'm like, oh my gosh,
A lost baby.
So much woods and everything. They'll find her, hopefully, as soon as possible. That's what I was thinking. Then we started scratching the surface and we're like, TF is going on.
While what happened to her is still a mystery, I spoke with Summer's father on Friday, who said he believes she was taken. He said he's also facing some accusations, but he said the fact of the matter is he just wants his little girl found. He told us the police have to rule out all suspects, including himself.
Well, I think that they have to do that. They can't rule out anybody. I mean, it's their job is to rule out everybody.
Yeah.
Did he volunteer this information, or did they ask him if he's a suspect? As I recall, for whatever reason, instead of just talking about the search, we want Summer back, pleading for his daughter, he turned it back to him about how he's getting hate on him, and you have reporters going, didn't ask you about that. Does anyone have an issue when someone volunteers information that they were not asked?
I do. Makes you look guilty. Well,
So, good old Dawn is, telling us how the law works as if none of us took 8th grade civics. We know they have to rule people out. So we're talking about Summer. This is 6 days in, Dawn. Why are you explaining to us basic law?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm convinced. Are you guys? Thank you, Dawn, for all this.
Yeah.
himself.
Well, I think that they have to do that. They can't rule out anybody. I mean, it's their job is to rule out everybody. They're just doing their job, what they got to do, and everybody welcomes them to do their job, for sure.
And everybody welcomes them to do their job for sure. And
But don't cooperate.
What's that?
But don't cooperate so they can do their job.
That's what Lawson flung out there in March.
Mm-hmm.
Now, early on, he kind of, shook his head. He's like, yeah, they're cooperating. Well, no, they were telling you what they want you to hear.
Exactly.
That's all they had to run off of. Sadly, in any missing children's case, any missing person, the investigation starts with what the people around them tell them. That's where they have to start. So if they have to start with a lie, like they did with Summer, then they lose a lot of time because they have to dispel the lie to start digging into the truth.
They gave her pictures of Summer when she had hair. They didn't even know her age.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they did and they just didn't give it to them. I don't think that's cooperation.
I see you said, yet they haven't ruled her parents out. Nope, or her grandma. Everybody's a suspect. They've never been specific. And here's the thing about the Summer Wells case. There's other cases where they don't even really bring it up. They don't touch on it. Like, it's obvious in the Harvey Montgomery case that Adam and Kayla would be suspects, but it's not something that the chief spouts out when he gets a chance. Lawson always spouts it out to us. Everybody's a suspect. Everybody's a suspect.
Wonder why that is.
I guess it's just kind of a friendly reminder that don't buy into this wandering off thing, because you don't need a suspect if she innocently enough went exploring her own yard.
Exactly.
We don't need a suspect if a little girl went to build a fort in her yard and got lost.
We really appreciate what they've done.
The TBI reported today that since Tuesday, nearly 70 agencies from across Tennessee, as well as other states, have joined in the search for Summer. We're told crews do plan to wrap up the search tonight at 8 p.m. However, if there are any tips or leads, they will continue to search into the night as they did last night. Reporting live from the Beach Creek community, I'm Bianca Murray for News Channel 11.
Oh, okay. And as always, on the screen, 800 TBI find or tips to TBI at tn.gov. Now, we know lots of tips have come in, lots, but it seems like most of those tips have come in from people that have been following the case, things that they've seen on social media, heard on social media, but nobody that had eyes on Summer at the property that day.
Unfortunately.
If the boys had seen something, I don't think we'd be here. I think they were purposely sat at that table, just the way Candace says, all sitting single file in a row, eyes on the TV, whether they were playing a game or watching something. Hell, she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Then I think they were sent to the creek, all three lined up purposely. Backs, their backs to what's going on. So who would call 800 TBI find? It would have to be Candace or Grandis, because they were the two adults there.
That we know of.
I was just getting ready to say. Candace says she doesn't know what Dawn was doing that day. Her and Donnie, she said, we don't do like that. I take care of me and my boys.
Sure you do.
She didn't mention Summer. Now, she said that like 9-10 months into Summer's disappearance. Yet she made sure to tell everybody from the get that Dawn was at work all day and that her oldest son was with him.
Yeah.
Yet she says all three boys are lined up at the table when she's talking to McDonough, and then they all three were sent to the creek, because that's what you do when there's a crazy abductor in the holler snatching kids.
Exactly.
Katrina said something brilliant. Hang on, I see people blowing up saying brilliant, brilliant. We always need some brilliance. Katrina, I grew up on 160 acres. My dad painted the trees red to show us where to stop and go no further. Well,
That
your
is a
dad,
good idea.
that's what you would do in a rural area in case your children got lost. You don't go any further than this. If you find yourself lost, didn't happen in this case, but that's genius. Mama Bear said, oh my God, that creek again, the creek. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. And gave him a knife. For what? You think a bear's not going to eat him with a knife?
Yeah. Yeah, a knife, and send him down to the creek. Well, and then what were you and Candace doing? That's the question. What were you doing while those boys were down at the creek? What were you doing, Candace?
She wasn't in the woods.
Nope. That's another really good question. What was Candace doing when the boys were down at the creek? And how much searching can the boys do? They're kids. They're going to be down there just yelling for summer and looking around.
Not only that, you don't put that responsibility on the boys.
No, hang on. No, that's scar them further. Why don't you, Candace? Your first instinct would be to find your child and protect the other three. Why would you purposely put them in harm's way? And I don't even want to hear about country folk. I'm talking about a mother's instincts. If your true thought, your true belief is that somebody came on your private property and got into your home and grabbed your 5-year-old child, you messed up and said she was 4.
Yeah.
You'd be on lockdown.
Exactly.
Rebecca said, how did Dawn know there was a creepy guy on the property if he was at work? I don't think Dawn relayed that information to Candace. I think that was set up. She took the phone call, if she was even talking to Dawn, and she relayed the information to Hunter. Now, why Hunter told Chris McDonough that he asked her what the phone call was about, I will never know. I will never know why a teenage boy would be asking an adult woman who was a friend of his mom's. Okay, teenagers and adults aren't friends. That's always been weird to me. Why he would even ask her. This is what he said. He asked her what that call was all about. And she said, Dawn said, there's a creepy guy on the property. So let's go back to Common Sense 101. You don't sit there and wait on the prescription and do some more dicking around and take Hunter home. You're going to go home and make sure your boys are safe, correct?
Correct. But why would they call Dawn, who's in, what, an hour away, 40 minutes away? And the mom's just in town. Why wouldn't they call her? She could get there quicker.
Well, why wouldn't she call 911 and say there's a stranger on my property? This was set up. She was telling him, so it gets repeated later on. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yep.
Oh, Jack of all trades said, the creek is so overgrown now you can't even see it. I can only imagine what Dawn's going to walk into on the 30th. may not even be able to see the house by the time he gets there.
He may prefer it that way. Nobody looking at what he's doing.
Yep. I wonder if old Candace is going to make an appearance on October 30th and go back to the house. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Do you think it's going to be slash day, as Candace calls it, meaning she's done with Dawn? That was her verbiage, not mine. Or do you think we're going to have a reunion and she's going to be back with Dawn when he gets out on the 30th? I'm curious because nothing would surprise me. Yeah, it's probably a jungle out there. Mm-mm-mm.
I'm not sure. It could go either way.
Trace on the case says reunion. Courtney says reunion. Oh, it's going to be a real Hallmark moment up on the hill. I have a feeling. Breaking doors. They got a lot to catch up on. Jack of all trades. You can't see the house now. The driveway's terribly rutted out. I'm going to assume you're from that area, Jack of all trades. Do you want to grab the link and come up and talk?
We always like to hear from the locals.
Absolutely. Fruit Loop, where else does she have to go? I'm just assuming where she's been staying all this time. She bounced from Ben Hill back in April. H thinks she's going to stay in hiding. Jennifer, okay, if I had merchandise, this would be a t-shirt. I'd be ironing on a Hanes right now. Don't come knocking if the hill's rocking.
That's just gross.
Don't want to picture it, but it's in our minds for a while.
That's hilarious.
Because when he gets out, Jack of all trades said not from there, just went through this past weekend. Come on up and tell us about it. He's had communication with the outside, just not with his beautiful bride. So I'm going to assume that somebody told him Candace isn't at your house anymore. Don's so dumb, he'd be like, yeah, all those people bothering her and stuff. I understand. She has downloaded some dating apps on her phone. She has her own YouTube channel, and she has been on other panels asking for people to donate so she can go skydiving. And
Which on plane with no shoe.
And she has claimed that she is not in love with you anymore. Have a feeling Don's going to have a convo with her about that when he gets out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to have to be brush hogged. It's going to have to be brush hogged when he gets out. I'm reading. We got some great comments. All right, I'm going to catch up with comments while I'm playing this clip. Hang on.
Fine.
Following a breaking news alert tonight, it's been 11 days since Summer Wells was last seen at her home in East Tennessee. Tonight, we are hearing from her grandmother and mother for the first time. Eric Egan is at the WKRN.com alert desk with new information. Eric?
Thanks, Bob. Candace Bly, Summer's mom, and Candace Harrer, Summer's grandmother, released a statement to our sister station, WJHL, today. So her grandmother said here, quote, "Bring my grandbaby home. She is a lovely baby, and we're so thankful for everyone looking for her. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. She's just gone. It's devastating." Meantime, Candace Bly, Summer's mom, simply said in her statement, quote, "I know she would never wander off this hill alone. Dozens of search crews now have methodically been checking every building, body of water, and forests for the missing 5-year-old child. We also learned 12 members of the Metro Police Urban Search and Rescue Team arrived this morning in Hawkins County to join in on that search." Bob, back to you.
Okay. I think I'm caught up. That's a lot to go through. We're going to listen to it again. To me, and we can agree to disagree here, that's why we're all such good friends. it's not so much what Dawn says. I don't know why. It really, to me, and like I said, we can agree to disagree. It really comes down to Candace. There's no way Candace doesn't have more information about June 15th, 2021. Again, this is August 15th, 2022, 14 months.
Yes.
And in 14 months, she hasn't racked her brain enough to call 800 TBI Find and say, hang on, there is something I remember.
Yeah.
When we were at the swimming hole, there was a guy that was kind of weird to me and was asking about Summer. I'm not saying that happened, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Sing it, Susan.
I'm just trying to curb my tongue.
Don't worry about it.
Fucking bitch. I can't stand that woman.
I can't either.
How do you not get the police information that you have?
All right, I'm going to go through this again. Sorry, but I have to, because this, you just heard Dawn. Now, they cut off the reporter talking. If the reporter asked him that question, the reporter would have wanted credit for it. It wouldn't have been on the editing room floor.
That's true.
I'm just going to assume that Dawn offered the information about how law enforcement has to clear everybody.
We are following a breaking news alert tonight. It's been 11 days since Summer Wells was last seen at her home in East Tennessee. Tonight, we are hearing from her grandmother.
Okay, so this is not Hero Dawn Day. I'm not pumping Dawn up. It is odd, though, that Summer goes missing on the 15th. I'm not saying that any family of any missing child has to talk to the press at all. Now, if they've been abducted, they want the parents to plead with the public so the abductor sees. That is, they do. So they're claiming abduction, yet they don't want to plead on television to get her back. Okay, so that Candace didn't have time. So she goes missing on the 15th. Candace has to get a hold of Allie. Some people say it's a warning about the twisted T. I don't, that makes no sense to me,
No.
but nothing they do does. Allie does not go to the hill. Car or not, Allie could have found a ride, considering Summer Wells was just reported missing.
And she loved her like a daughter.
Loved her like a daughter.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm not saying that she would have taken Hunter up there. I don't think that would have been a good idea. But we've heard over and over and over for over a year, 14 months, love her like a daughter, like she was mine, like she was my own. Nobody wants their own children treated by these people the way they treat their own. Did I say that right?
I think you did.
Okay, Goofy Robin shows up, Flute, playing David. They show up, probably, I guess, just assuming that Summer had wandered off and they thought they were going to help search. All right. Has to get a hold of Allie. Allie does not make the trip out there. Can't get Leslie to bring her. Somebody she knows has a car, correct?
Correct. Otherwise, how she get around?
The Allie thing, I'm not going to be off of anytime soon. The next day, we don't hear anything. The 17th, I believe the 17th is when Dawn had to go and give Dudley his $300. Again, not a priority when your child is missing.
Yeah.
Candace has to go to Allie's house and ask them, what they told the TBI. Not something you would do with your daughter missing. Abducted or wandered off, not something you would do.
No, and didn't the police tell them not to speak with her?
Damn right they did, because Allie said she called the TBI, had the card and everything. They called her back. That I don't get. So I guess there was 2 conversations. Anyway, when she actually spoke to them, they asked what Candace was driving. I've always found that to be odd. I found every bit of it odd. Their question was, I'm sure it piqued their interest that Candace showed up. But what was she driving?
That is interesting.
Yep. And according to Hunter, Candace was there as almost kind of an intimidation tactic. You better not have told them about that twisted tea. Again, not a behavior of someone whose daughter could be lost in the woods or abducted in broad daylight.
That would be the last thing that you would think of.
Mhm.
Who cares about any of that? Where's my daughter? Help me find her.
Right. So we square up with Dudley. We intimidate, I guess, Hunter and Allie. I don't think so, because she got a hold of Allie that night, but she had to go over there.
She was on a fishing expedition.
And she did it in person, people say, because she didn't have a phone. But her and Candace were seen at AT&T buying phones. Not sure what day that was, but it was very early on. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're not on TV pleading with the abductor to bring our child back, right?
Exactly.
As of today, August 15th, 2022, there has been no ransom. There's been no communication from the abductor to the family. We'll bring your daughter back when we get this.
Odd in itself.
Lisa Durr, reading my mind, I was just getting ready to mention that. Some people say it's not Candace's Subaru. I don't believe in coincidence in any of these cases. Why was Allie, as if, what was going on Allie's phone? I'm getting way off track, guys. I'm getting way off track, guys. But you know how to steer me back. As they're sitting on the porch, drinking Mountain Dew, eating Domino's pizza out of coffee cups.
Yeah.
Why was Allie so into her phone? You're talking about the disappearance of Summer Wells, who you considered a daughter. Your son was with her the day of her disappearance, but you're on your phone. Then we see a red Subaru come by. I still believe it's Candace.
I do too.
Do you guys think that was Candace that drove by that day or not? It's okay either way, because some people are like, she wouldn't be that dumb. That's a big sentence to say for Candace, but I'm just wondering.
Almost choked on my coffee on that one.
She's brazen. She is brazen. And would it be to check out what Chris is driving? Or was she going to stay around the area to go back and ask Hunter and Allie in person what that was all about?
Or intimidation?
Intimidation. Ooh, good point. Lisa said it could have been both of them. It could have been Dawn and Candace. It could have been Candace and Grandis. Now we have even more to think about.
Mother and mother for the first time. Eric Egan is at the WKRN.com.
Okay, like I said, I get off track. I get so wound up about this. All right, so she goes, we square up with Dudley. We go to, not Candace, but Dawn. She goes to Allie's house. That's on the 17th. On the 18th is when we start pleading with the public via phone. This is Dawn to Jeff Bobo. 6 days from the hang on one second, I'm reading something. All right, so 6 days after Summer's disappearance, Dawn starts speaking to the media. But Candace and Grandis wait 11 days. They don't go on camera, A-okay by me, but that's when they speak out. So hang on. So this is 11 days after. I was doing some math.
Is at the WKRN.com alert desk with new information. Eric?
Thanks, Bob. Candace Bly, Summer's mom, and Candace Harrer, Summer's grandmother, released a statement to our sister station, WJHL, today. So her grandmother said here, quote, "Bring my grandbaby home. She is a lovely baby, and we're so thankful for everyone looking for her."
Why is Grandis calling Summer a baby? She's a lovely baby. Why is she calling her that? Yet speaking to other people, she refers to her as a little girl. Why for the news is she calling her a lovely baby? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Odd. And, God forbid they ever use her name. She has a beautiful name. Call her by her name, Summer.
Absolutely.
Everyone looking for her. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. She's just gone. It's that.
That doesn't sit right with me. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could.
What was stopping them?
We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. Why don't they reiterate that when they're speaking to Chris McDonough or anyone else? The initial search for Summer was all of, according to Candace, looking under a blanket, under a mattress, out the door to the right. And Grandis doesn't explain any search effort at all. It's almost like she just took Candace at her word that somebody came up on the property while I guess Grandis was still messing with the cactus or in the camper sleeping. I can't make heads or tails of it. And abducted Summer. She didn't seem to even have any questions for her daughter. I'm not a grandmother. You are, Susan. Anyone in here that's a grandparent, would you take your daughter or son's word for it if they told you your grandchild had been abducted? Wouldn't you be like, no, we're going to find her? Now, if the police said it, it's a different story.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Where was she? Where was she? I would be frantic and question.
What do you mean she's abducted? I think about the Lacey Peterson case. Apples and oranges, I know.
Yeah.
When Scott Peterson called Sharon Rocha, Lacey's mom, and the words he used, he said, she's missing. And she was annoyed. She was missing. What do you mean missing? She can't be missing. She's an adult. But
Exactly. There's the concern. Yeah. Grandma just took her word for it. Oh, okay.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said exactly that she's upset and she's questioning, and Grandis just took her word for it. Okay, cool.
Who does that?
Nobody. Nobody.
Oh, okay. She's been abducted. And then why would you yell for an abducted child?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. It isn't true.
Why would you yell? Now, at first, if you can't find your child, but then it dawns on you, oh, dumb me, they've been abducted. No.
Absolutely not.
Meantime, Candace Bly, Summer's mom, simply said in her statement, quote, "I know she would never wander off this hill alone."
Okay, so this is 11 days after Summer's disappearance. Candace's statement to the news says, I know she would never wander off this hill alone, because except now we're in abduction mode, right? So
Yeah.
why the day of the disappearance did she jump in her truck to go look for her?
Makes no sense.
Annabelle, they yelled for her to make the neighbors think they were looking. I agree with that. And the
Yes.
boys. And the
All
boys
about appearances.
would be questioned. Go ahead. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No. I said it's all about the appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And their appearance is not red carpet ready, because there's a lot of boxes they didn't check over here. There's a lot.
A lot.
And I know people say, well, it's a planned abduction. Oh, I get it. I smell what you're stepping in. So with a planned abduction, you know about it, Candace.
Exactly.
And this, jack of all trades. Nobody is abducting nothing or nobody off Ben Hill unless they know. I mean, first of all, they've been running around all morning, right? We had a laundry list of errands they had been running. They get home. 3 boys had been left home alone all day. So if you're going to abduct, it's, I don't know that it's in the rule book or anything, but I would think common sense to the abductor is, well, I'm going to grab a child when their parents aren't looking, not when 3 boys are home, the mom and the grandma, and you just drive up in the afternoon, a driveway that's very hard to get up, from what I'm understanding.
And let's not forget that Summer's head is shaved. She looks like a boy.
Mhm.
If they were going to go for a boy, then why do it when the adults are home?
Yeah. And out of, well, they call it the bedroom, the basement. How did they know she was there? Candace says she was abducted out of that room, out of that dungeon. That's her story, and she's sticking to it.
Her story has holes in it.
Happy August. Thank you for the super sticker. There's no abduction here.
No.
The FBI card unit, that's their job. It's not like the FBI card unit, like they're rookie cops. That's their job. No sign of abduction. Every press conference they've done, except for the first couple of days, they're just like, no, there's no abduction. There's no abduction. The wandering off makes 0 sense. 0 sense, especially in the time that Candace is giving us. So we go back to, before I get to the rest of the clip, right here from the TBI, Leslie. Absolutely, she's answering a question to Courtney. She says foul play has not been ruled out. This was just a few weeks ago when she tweeted this back. Foul play has not been ruled out. As a result, the investigation into the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remains active and ongoing. We got that part. They haven't ruled out foul play. So it's even more foul than we can even imagine. It's been 14 months.
If we can pick out the holes in their story, law enforcement can.
Mm-hmm.
Poor baby.
Exactly, Suzanne. I know this sounds like Groundhog Day because we've had this conversation a million times in the last 14 months, and we're going to continue to have it because there was no damn abduction. And if she wandered off with the search effort that went down June 15th, she probably would have been found that night. When it ramped up, she would have been found probably the next day. And if she was really lost and she's that fast on barefoot, she would have been found the next day.
She's not a stupid child. She would have seen the helicopters. She would have went toward that.
Yeah. And then we can't even give a description of what she's really wearing. We've heard gray pants and purple shirt. Always barefoot, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know why Candace makes sure to drive that part of it home. She was barefoot. I mean, really, the only consistencies that we have are that the boys were sent to the creek. I do believe that. I do believe that. The reason I believe it is because I think they sent the boys down there so they wouldn't know what was going on up the hill. And barefoot. She makes sure to say she's barefoot. Why throw that extra in there, Candace? A barefoot child. And I know we get tough feet in the summertime. This was June 15th. You know, we get rougher feet. I'm terrible about walking around barefoot. I am. But she throws that in there. She's barefoot. So it makes it even harder to believe she could get that far away.
Exactly.
Dozens of search crews now have methodically been checking every building, body of water, and forest for the missing 5-year-old child. We also learned 12 members of the Metro Police Urban Search and Rescue Team arrived this morning in Hawkins County to join in on that search.
I'm going to listen again to what their statement was. 11 days in. Hang on.
Released a statement to our sister station, WJHL, today. So her grandmother said here, quote,
I cannot believe that the FBI card unit, with them screaming abduction, allowed them just to release a statement and not go on camera and plead to the abductor to bring their child home. They knew immediately. They knew immediately. I have a feeling when the police got there and they had heard the 911 call, I would love to hear it. I've only heard the dispatcher's part of it. When they got there and the story was already changing, because we know how Candace talks.
Uh-huh.
Hence why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, day 2 of the search, Leslie said, this is a case outside the norm. We don't know what happened to her.
We sure did.
They said anything you've thought of, we've thought of too. So what the hell can it be? How crazy is this? Wandering off is not crazy. Bring my grandbaby home. She is a lovely baby, and we're so thankful for everyone looking for her. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. It's quite the effort there. We did all we could do. We looked as much as we could.
Yeah, she's just gone.
She's just gone. It's devastating.
bring my grandbaby home. She is a lovely baby, and we're so thankful for everyone looking for her. We yelled and looked for her as much as we could. She's just gone. It's devastating. Meantime, Candace Bly, Summer's mom, simply said in her statement, quote,
I love how this reporter relayed this when he said, you know, we received a statement.
Right.
Received a statement. Look, just a little bit. I'm picking up on some sarcasm. Listen to what he says. Really has nothing to do with Summer, but he's picking up on what we've known.
Meantime, Candace Bly, Summer's mom, simply said in her statement, quote, I know she would never wander off this hill alone.
Okay, so 11 days in, that's all Candace had for us. Okay, remember, 11 days in, that was Candace's statement to the news. I know she would never wander off this hill alone. Why would you keep defending that, Candace? That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's terrible. Your child is missing. But it's almost like that was offensive to both her and Dawn. She would never wander off this hill alone. I don't know why she was so adamant about that, and Dawn too. It's like they know what they're suspected of. They know. And that's water off a duck's back. But the wandering off, they've always been so never. We showed her YouTube videos of what bears do to people. Charming, I know.
Yeah. They're just pushing a narrative that she's not going to be found there. and that they're not involved.
But she would never wander off.
Hmm.
What are you? This is 11 days in. How do you know, helicopter mom? Especially when we know the truth that she had wandered off before.
She was all over that hill with following them boys. Kids are going to wander. That's what they do, especially if you don't want to.
She looked for her before and
Mhm.
found her. But that day they yelled and looked all they could. So then we moved to plan B. This is an abduction. You didn't hear anything?
No
She
way.
said she thought it could have been one of the tree trimmers.
Yeah, right. And yet she didn't go up there where the tree trimmers were working to look for her.
No, she jumped in the truck and went to take off to look for a child that would never wander off the hill.
Mm-hmm.
She jumped in the truck and drove off to look for a child that would never wander off the hill. Why did you need to yourself drive off the hill to look for a child that would never wander off the hill?
Good question. One that she's never answered.
No.
Dozens of search crews now have methodically been checking every building, body of water, and forest for the missing 5-year-old child. We also learned 12 members of the Metro Police Urban Search and Rescue Team arrived this morning in Hawkins County to join in on that search.
Well, I have a feeling when they watched the news 11 days after Summer's disappearance to see how well they were received and how well they did with their written statements, I have a feeling when they got that tidbit of news that they had even more people coming to look for Summer, put a little kink in their chain, because as we know, those helicopters were waking Dawn up at night.
Yeah, keeping them awake all night. And let's not forget about the searchers that were swimming and having a good old time.
Mm-hmm.
That has always rubbed me the wrong way. Always.
Well, and it's bad enough to have a negligent mom. Hey, that's one thing. That's terrible. That's bad enough in itself. But when you have a grandmother, I yelled all I could. What did Lisa say? Oh, Lisa, I agree with you. Yeah. She wants people to believe someone took her, so if she was found, they could say someone else abused her, not them. I agree with that 100%. That's why, just my theory, I want to hear all of your theories because I know it changes quite often. Candace has the history of child abuse.
Yes, she does.
Hands down, she does. Something could have happened. Candace lost it and knew that she could not take her to an ER because it wouldn't have been Candace's first rodeo. And if found, then it would have been the abductor and not Candace that did anything.
That makes sense.
And I would have been yelling for my child too. My first thought would have been, she's around here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
She gotta be. Nobody's been here. She wouldn't have jumped in someone's car, to go with them. No one's been here. It's just been me, my mom, and the boys, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
I'd have been yelling my face off too.
That makes sense too.
I mean, we can talk all day about what we would do. I've never been in this situation. I mean, my son got away from me one time and it was panic. It was panic mode.
Absolutely. I think we've all had that moment.
Hey, JPL. And Wolfcat, thank you. Thank you. And early on, they said she wouldn't be found. Well, Dawn specifically. When Dawn was speaking to Jeff Bobo on June 18th, Jeff brought up Rose. You know, doesn't Candace also have a sister that's missing? Dawn, being ever so helpful, said to make us all feel better, they didn't find her either. And they didn't find her either. That's what he said. And they didn't ever find her either. This was 3 days later. And they didn't find her
Either.
Insane. Does anybody want to grab the link and give us your thoughts on why we're here 14 months later? Obviously, we don't know what law enforcement's doing because they have been very tight-lipped. When we see the progress with the Harmony Montgomery case, and they have let us, I wouldn't say they've let us know what they're doing, but it seems like, you know, some updates. We've had some updates, especially the heartbreaking update we had last week. It seems like every day we're getting an update on Kylie Rodney. They have been very tight-lipped in this case. You don't need to be tight-lipped unless, you know, you really are still looking for her, and your synopsis is she just wandered off.
Right.
I don't know, my friend, but I really don't want to do month 15. Do you?
No, I don't. I want this baby found and justice for her.
I do too. I do too. I don't think anybody here wants to do month 15, but we're going to stick with it. We're going to stick with it because this doesn't need to be a file on someone's desk collecting dust.
No.
Because without public interest, these cases are not worked. Exactly, Wolfcat, but we will. We're in for the long haul.
Got to keep her name out there.
Yep. Keep asking. Keep asking those questions. If something occurs to you, just, you know, say, well, now hang on. That never stuck out to me before. This makes no sense. The amount of things that don't make sense, whether they're not like us or not, that was very, very common last year. Look, give them a break. They don't think like us. They're not like us. And I'm like, oh.
The hell you say?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be concerned? Honestly?
She looked for her all the other times she wandered off. Why not June 15th? At what point of her search for Summer did she realize that she really couldn't find her? According to the TBI, she disappeared early afternoon. The phone call was 6:30 that night.
What was she doing all day?
Why did she leave the property 2 more times from when she got back from town? From all the running around with the knee and the Walgreens and the swimming and the hunter and the vapes and all of that stuff. One time, supposedly, was to go look for a child that would never wander off the hill.
Yeah.
She didn't look around the hill, did she? We're talking about first she said 2 minutes, then 10 minutes. She
won't go in the woods. She's just afraid of them bears. So where was she looking all that time?
Mm-hmm. And like JPL says, and how do they know there's no evidence? Dawn has said they're not going to find her. There's no evidence. They don't have shit. He has said that many times.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he has.
Yes, he has. Well, guys, I hate to leave good company, but I got to shut this down, get a few things done around here. Going to be back in a few hours with an update on Kylie Rodney. So y'all set your reminder and come over there, and we'll try to put our heads together on what's going on with that insanity as well. I will see you guys in Discord in the meantime. And you guys are the coolest. Really, you are. You are the coolest people to chat with. Like I said, agree to disagree, and thought-provoking, common sense comments. I love it. Ree said, what time is the other show, Brooks? 3 p.m. Central. So just a few hours. Oh, I missed a comment. Hang on. It was, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth said, dang it, girl. I definitely want to try to get to the Kylie one. See you later. Love this chat so much. I love this chat so much too. Oh, by the way, I am having issues getting messages on the Facebook page for Crime Lines and Lies. Like it's telling me I've got a new message, and when I look at it, it's like seriously from a month ago. So the best way to get a hold of me is to email me at cll72020@gmail.com or hit me up in Discord. Either or is good, but I'm not ignoring anybody. But I will see you guys back here in a few hours. Thanks, as always. You guys are the best chat and best community on YouTube. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.